When the phone rang at 2:47 a.m., Elon Musk almost ignored it. Another prank call, he thought. Another kid pretending to be a reporter or scientist. But something made him answer. "Mr. Musk?" The voice was young, shaky. "My name is Sarah Chun. I'm calling from a children's hospital in Philadelphia about an 8-year-old girl who's dying. She's built something incredible, something that could change how we treat her condition and thousands like her." The words hit Elon like ice water. A dying child, an impossible invention, and a plea that would pull him from his late-night work on Mars missions to face the most important call of his life. "She has maybe 2 weeks left," Sarah continued, her voice breaking. "But she's created a device from old computer parts that lets children who can't speak communicate with their families. She calls it her magic box, and she wants to give it to you before." Elon was already reaching for his keys. Some things were more important than rockets to Mars. What he would discover in that hospital room would shake him to his core. Not just the brilliant invention of a dying child, but a truth that would reframe everything he thought he knew about. Innovation, desperation, and the lengths one extraordinary little girl would go to save others. The call that changed everything was about to begin. The numbers on Elon Musk's phone glowed bright in the dark room. 2:47 a.m. He rubbed his tired eyes and looked back at the papers spread across his desk. Mars mission plans, rocket designs, and computer chips covered every inch of space. His Austin, Texas home was quiet. Everyone else was sleeping. But Elon couldn't stop working. Tomorrow, SpaceX would test a new rocket engine. The day after that, Tesla would show off their newest car. And next week, Neuralink would help another paralyzed person control a computer with their thoughts. The phone rang. Elon jumped. "Who calls at almost 3 a.m.? He looked at the screen. The caller ID showed only numbers. +1-555, unknown. "Probably another prank call," he muttered. Kids often called him pretending to be reporters or scientists. But something made him answer anyway. "This is Elon," he said, his voice rough from being awake so long. "Mr. Musk?" The voice was young and shaky. A woman, maybe in her 20s. "My name is Sarah Chun. I'm calling from Shriners Children's Hospital in Philadelphia." Elon sat up straighter. A hospital calling at 2 a.m. meant something serious. "I'm sorry to call so late," Sarah continued. "But we have a situation with one of our patients, a little girl named Maya Rodriguez. She's 8 years old, and she's been following your work for months. Is she okay?" Elon asked, already worried about a child he'd never met. Sarah's voice broke a little. "She has a rare brain tumor. The doctors say she has maybe 2 weeks left." Elon felt his chest tighten. He thought about his own children, safe and healthy in their beds. "I'm sorry to hear that. But why are you calling me?" "Mr. Musk, she's built something incredible. Something that could change how we treat her condition and thousands of others like her." The line went quiet except for Sarah's shaky breathing. Elon could hear machines beeping in the background. "She built it from watching your Neuralink presentations online," Sarah said. "She used old computer parts her dad found at garage sales." "Mr. Musk, this 8-year-old girl may have solved something our best doctors couldn't figure out." Elon stood up, his mind racing. "What did she build?" "A brain signal decoder. She calls it Maya's magic box. It's crude, but it works. She's been using it to communicate with other kids in the hospital who can't speak because of their conditions." Elon walked to his window and looked out at the dark Texas sky. That's incredible. How did she learn to do that?" "YouTube videos and library books. But there's more, Mr. Musk." Sarah's voice dropped to a whisper. "She wants to give it to you. She says if anyone can make it help other kids, it's you." "I'd be honored to see her work," Elon said. "But Mr. Musk, she's fading fast. The tumor is growing. Every day, she gets a little weaker. She spent 3 hours today showing another kid how to use her machine. A boy who hasn't spoken to his mother in 2 years because of his brain injury." Sarah started crying. Today, he told his mom he loved her. For the first time in 2 years, he could say those words. And it was because of Maya. Elon felt tears in his own eyes. "Where is she now?" "Room 312. She's probably still awake, working on her magic box. She doesn't sleep much anymore. The pain is getting worse, but she keeps building. She says she has to finish it before." "Before what?" "Before she goes to join the stars. That's what she calls dying. She says she's going to become a star and watch over other kids who need help." Elon closed his eyes. This little girl was facing death, but she was spending her last days trying to help others. He thought about all the meetings he had tomorrow, all the important business calls and rocket tests. None of it seemed important now. Sarah, I need to see her. I need to see what she's built. Really? You'd come here. I'll be there in 4 hours. Can you tell Maya I'm coming? Sarah gasped. Mr. Musk, she's going to be so happy. She talks about you all the time. She says you're the only person who understands about reaching for impossible dreams. What's her full name again? Maya Rodriguez. She's in room 312 at Shriners Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. Her parents are Carlos and Maria Rodriguez. They're good people, Mr. Musk. They work 3 jobs to pay for her treatment. Elon was already reaching for his jacket. I'm leaving now. Tell Maya the Rocket Man is coming to see her magic box. I will. And Mr. Musk? Yes, thank you. You're about to make a dying little girl's biggest dream come true. As Elon hung up the phone, he looked back at his desk covered with Mars mission plans. Tomorrow, he was supposed to help humans reach the Red Planet. But tonight, he had a more important mission. He had to meet an 8-year-old girl who might just change the world. He grabbed his keys and headed for the door. The drive to Philadelphia would take 4 hours, but he'd make it in 3. Some things were more important than speed limits. Maya Rodriguez was waiting for him. And somehow, Elon knew this meeting would change everything. The sun was just starting to rise over Philadelphia. When Elon's car pulled into the hospital parking lot, he had driven through the night, stopping only once for gas and coffee. His eyes were tired, but his mind was wide awake. Shriners Children's Hospital looked different than he expected. The building was painted in bright colors. There were pictures of rainbows and cartoon animals on the walls. But Elon could see the sadness behind the cheerful decorations. This was a place where sick children came to get better. Not all of them would. Sarah Chun was waiting for him at the front entrance. She was younger than he had imagined, maybe 25 years old. Her nurse scrubs were wrinkled, and her eyes looked tired. She had probably been working all night. Mr. Musk, she said, walking toward him. I can't believe you actually came. I said I would. Elon replied, shaking her hand. How is Maya? She's been awake all night, working on her magic box. She's so excited to meet you. She made her dad help her wash her hair and pick out her favorite shirt. Sarah led him through the hospital halls. The walls were covered with drawings made by children. Elon saw pictures of rockets, robots, and spaceships. One drawing showed a little girl floating among the stars with a big smile on her face. The kids here are amazing, Sarah said, noticing him looking at the artwork. They're facing impossible things, but they never stop dreaming. They walked past rooms filled with beeping machines and worried parents. Elon saw mothers and fathers sitting beside hospital beds, holding their children's hands. Some were reading stories. Others were just watching their kids sleep. Maya's room is on the 3rd floor, Sarah explained as they got into the elevator. Her parents, Carlos and Maria Rodriguez, are good people. They work 3 jobs between them to pay for her treatment. Carlos builds houses during the day and cleans office buildings at night. Maria works at a grocery store and babysits other kids on weekends. The elevator doors opened, and they walked down a long hallway. The walls here had more children's drawings. Elon saw one that made him stop. It was a picture of a rocket ship with SpaceX written on the side. At the bottom, in crayon letters, it said, "For the Rocket Man, love, Maya." She drew that last month, Sarah said softly. She puts it on her wall and looks at it when the pain gets bad. They stopped outside room 312. Through the window, Elon could see a small hospital bed. A tiny girl with a bald head was sitting up, working on something with intense focus. Her head was covered in colorful stickers, stars, rockets, and planets. She does this for hours, Sarah whispered. Even when the pain is really bad, she keeps building. She says she's going to help other kids talk to their families. Elon looked at Maya through the window. She was so small, so fragile. But her hands moved with purpose as she worked on her invention. She was connecting wires and adjusting tiny computer parts. How long has she been here? Elon asked. 6 months. The tumor was found after she fainted at school. Her teacher, Mrs. Johnson, said Maya was the smartest kid she'd ever taught, always asking questions about space and robots and how things work. Sarah opened the door quietly. Maya, there's someone here to see you. The little girl looked up from her work. Her eyes were big and brown, and they went wide when she saw Elon, standing in the doorway. "You're really him," she whispered, her voice weak but excited. "You're the Rocket Man." Elon felt his throat get tight. He walked slowly into the room and sat in the chair beside her bed. "Hi, Maya. I heard you've been building something very special." Maya's face lit up with the biggest smile Elon had ever seen. "You came. You really came. I told everyone you would, but they said important people don't visit regular kids." "You're not a regular kid, Maya. You're an inventor. And inventors always have time for other inventors." Maya tried to sit up straighter, but Elon could see it hurt her. "Want to see my magic box?" She reached for a shoebox on her bedside table. It was covered in stickers and held together with tape. Inside were wires, old computer chips, and what looked like a small screen from an old phone. "I watched your brain chip videos on YouTube," Maya said, carefully taking the parts out of the box. "The ones where you help people who can't move their bodies control computers with their thoughts." She pointed to some thin wires taped to her head. "I can't always talk because the medicine makes me sleepy, but I figured out how to read the signals my brain makes when I think words." Maya held up the small screen. "Then I made this box translate them into words that other people can read." Elon looked at the device more closely. It was built from parts that looked like they came from old computers and broken phones. Everything was held together with tape and small screws. But he could see the logic behind it. The connections made sense. The design was actually brilliant. "Maya, this is incredible. How did you learn to do this?" "YouTube videos and library books. My dad takes me to the library every Sunday after church." Her eyes filled with tears. "He says we might not have many more Sundays together." Elon reached out and gently touched her hand. "Maya, can you show me how it works?" She nodded eagerly and wiped her eyes. "I'll show you the best part. It doesn't just work for me. It works for other kids too." Maya pointed to the bed next to hers. A boy about her age was lying there, sleeping. His head was wrapped in bandages. "That's Tommy," Maya said quietly. "He can't talk at all because of his brain injury. He's been here for 4 months. His mom cries every day because she doesn't know what he's thinking or feeling." Maya carefully moved some of the wires to a small device beside Tommy's bed. "But when I put my magic box on him, he can tell her things. Yesterday, he told her he loves her and that he's not scared anymore." Elon felt his eyes get watery. "Maya, you've done something that my team of scientists has been working on for years. How did you figure it out?" Maya looked at him with serious eyes. "I had something they didn't have." "What's that?" "I needed it to work. Not for money or to be famous. I needed it because my friends were hurting and I wanted to help them." Elon stared at Maya in amazement. This 8-year-old girl had just explained something that his million-dollar research team struggled to understand. Innovation didn't come from fancy labs or expensive equipment. It came from the heart. "Maya, will you show me how your magic box works?" Elon asked gently. "Yes," Maya said, her eyes sparkling. She picked up the thin wires that were taped to her temples. "These read the signals from my brain. Watch this." Maya closed her eyes and concentrated. She placed the wires against her head and thought really hard. On the small screen, words began to appear. "Hello, Rocket Man. Welcome to my room." Elon's mouth dropped open. "Maya, that's incredible. You thought those words, and the machine wrote them down." "It's not perfect," Maya admitted, adjusting one of the wires. "Sometimes it gets confused, especially when I'm really tired or the medicine makes my brain fuzzy. But it works good enough to help my friends." She pointed again to Tommy in the next bed. Yesterday, Tommy's mom was crying because she didn't know if he was in pain. The doctors couldn't tell either. But I put my magic box on him, and he told us his head hurt on the left side. The doctors gave him different medicine, and he felt better. Maya's voice got excited as she continued. "And last week, there was a new girl named Emma. She has autism and gets scared when too many people talk at once. She couldn't tell the nurses when she needed quiet time. But with my magic box, she could think the words too loud and show them." On the screen, Elon sat forward in his chair. "Maya, you've created different programs for different types of problems." "Sort of," Maya said, reaching into her shoebox. She pulled out several small devices, each one slightly different. "This one is for kids who had strokes. This one is for kids with autism. And this one is for kids who are just too shy to talk out loud." She held up the device for shy children. "Sometimes kids know the answer in school, but are too scared to say it." Mrs. Johnson, my teacher, told me about a boy named David who never talks in class. But he's really smart. If he had this, he could think his answers instead of saying them. Elon examined each device carefully. Maya had modified the basic design for different types of brain signals. Some had different colored wires. Others had different sized screens. Each one was labeled in Maya's careful handwriting. How did you figure out that different conditions needed different approaches? Elon asked. I listened to the other kids, Maya said simply. I asked them what it feels like inside their heads. Tommy told me his thoughts feel fuzzy, like looking through dirty water. Emma said her thoughts feel like fireworks, very bright and fast. So I made different settings. Maya picked up another device. This one is my favorite. It's for kids who are scared to tell adults when something bad is happening. What do you mean? Maya's voice got quiet. Sometimes kids are being hurt by grown-ups, but they're too scared to say it out loud. Or sometimes they're sick, but don't want their parents to worry. This magic box has a special setting that lets them think their secrets safely. Elon felt his chest tighten. This little girl wasn't just solving technical problems. She was solving human problems that adults often missed. Maya, I want to help you make these devices better. I want to help you help more kids. Maya's face lit up, but then she looked serious. Mr. Musk, I have to tell you something important. What is it? The doctors say I might not have much time left. The tumor is growing, and the medicine isn't working as well anymore. Maya's voice was steady, but Elon could see tears in her eyes. But I don't want my magic box to die with me. She reached out and took his hand with her small one. Will you promise me something? Anything, Maya. Promise me you'll make sure other kids get to use it. Promise me you'll make it so no kid ever has to feel alone because they can't talk to the people they love. Elon squeezed her hand gently. I promise, Maya. I give you my word. And promise me something else. What's that? Promise me you won't make it too fancy. Kids don't need fancy. They need it to work when they're scared or hurt or lonely. Elon smiled through his tears. I promise that too. Maya smiled back. Good. Because I have so many more ideas. I want to make a version that helps kids who are afraid of the dark. They could use it to talk to their parents from their bedroom without having to call out loud. She was getting excited again. And I want to make one for kids in the hospital who miss their pets. They could use it to record messages for their dogs and cats at home. Maya, you're thinking about things that no adult would ever consider. That's because adults forget what it's like to be a kid, Maya said matter-of-factly. Adults think. Kids just need food and toys in school. But kids need to feel understood. They need to know that their thoughts and feelings matter. Tommy in the next bed started to wake up. Maya quickly moved her magic box to his bedside table and placed the wires near his head. Within seconds, words appeared on the screen. Good morning, Maya. Maya clapped her hands softly. Good morning, Tommy. This is my friend Mr. Musk. He's the rocket man I told you about. Tommy's eyes found Elon, and he concentrated again. The screen showed. Will you take Maya to space someday? Elon felt his throat close up. If Maya wants to go to space, we'll figure out a way. Maya giggled. I can't go to space, silly. My body is too sick. But maybe someday my magic box can go to space and help astronauts talk to their families on Earth. She looked at Elon with hope in her eyes. Do you think that could happen? Maya, Elon said, I think you're going to change the world. Maya smiled at Elon's words, but before she could respond, the door to her room opened. A man and woman walked in, carrying coffee cups and looking very tired. The man was tall with dark hair and hands that looked rough from hard work. The woman was shorter, with kind eyes and worry lines on her face. Maya, Mija, how are you feeling? This morning, the woman said, hurrying to Maya's bedside. Mama, Papa, Maya said excitedly. Look, the rocket man came to see me, just like I said he would. The man stopped walking and stared at Elon. His coffee cup shook in his hand. Mr. Musk, you're really here. Elon stood up and walked toward them. You must be Maya's parents. I'm Elon Musk. Carlos Rodriguez. The man said, quickly setting down his coffee and wiping his hand on his shirt before shaking Elon's hand. This is my wife, Maria. Mr. Musk, I can't believe you're actually here. Maya talks about you every single day. Maria, Rodriguez looked like she might cry. She has pictures of your rockets all over her bedroom at home. She watches your interviews on my phone and tells everyone she's going to work for you someday. Mama, show him my notebook. Maya said from her bed. Maria opened a small backpack and pulled out a worn notebook covered in stickers. She handed it to Elon with shaking hands. Maya writes down everything you say in interviews. She studies your words like they're homework. Elon opened the notebook. Page after page was filled with Maya's careful handwriting. She had copied down quotes from his speeches and drawn pictures of rockets and brain chips. On one page, she had written, "Mr. Musk says impossible just means no one has tried hard enough yet." Maya, Elon said, looking up from the notebook. "This is amazing. You've been studying my work like a real scientist." "I want to be just like you," Maya said proudly. "I want to help people and build things that make the world better." Carlos pulled up a chair next to Elon. "Mr. Musk, we don't have much money. We're just working people. But Maya, she's special. Even the doctors say they've never seen a kid like her. She's always been smart," Maria added, sitting on the other side of Maya's bed. "When she was 3, she took apart our old radio to see how the music came out. When she was 5, she built a robot from cardboard boxes that could move its arms. And when she was 7, Carlos continued, she fixed our neighbor's broken computer. Mr. Wilson had taken it to 3 different repair shops, and they all said it couldn't be fixed. Maya looked at it for 10 minutes and found the problem." Maya giggled. "It was easy, Papa. One of the wires was just in the wrong place." Elon sat down in the hospital cafeteria with Carlos and Maria later that morning. Maya was taking a nap, tired from all the excitement of showing off her magic box. The cafeteria was nearly empty, and the Rodriguez family looked exhausted. "How long has Maya been sick?" Elon asked gently. Carlos's hands wrapped around his coffee cup. 6 months. She fainted at school during math class. At first, we thought she was just tired. She had been staying up late, working on some project. In her room. The project was an early version of her magic box, Maria said quietly. She was trying to help her friend Jenny, who has trouble speaking because of a learning disability. The doctors did lots of tests, Carlos continued. When they found the tumor, they said it was bad. Very aggressive. They tried surgery, but they couldn't get all of it. Maria wiped her eyes with a tissue. "We've tried everything, Mr. Musk. We sold our house and moved in with my mother. We borrowed money from everyone we know. Carlos works construction during the day and cleans offices at night. I work at the grocery store and babysit kids on weekends. But it's not enough," Carlos said, his voice breaking. "The treatments are so expensive. And now the doctors say..." He couldn't finish the sentence. "They say there's nothing more they can do," Maria whispered. 2 weeks, maybe 3. The tumor is growing too fast." Elon leaned forward. "I want to help. I have connections with the best brain surgeons in the world. There might be experimental treatments we could try." Carlos shook his head. "Mr. Musk, we can't afford." "Money isn't the issue," Elon interrupted. "Maya's invention could help millions of children around the world. She's given humanity a gift. Let me give her one in return." Maria started crying harder. "She's not afraid of dying, Mr. Musk. She tells me she's going to become a star and watch over other kids who need help. But I'm terrified. She's my whole world. She's the best thing Carlos and I ever made." Carlos put his arm around his wife. "Maya made us promise something yesterday. She said if anything happens to her, we have to make sure her magic box helps other kids. She doesn't want other families to go through what we're going through. She worries about us more than herself," Maria added. "Yesterday, she asked if we would be okay without her. An 8-year-old child, dying, and she's worried about her parents." Elon felt anger rising in his chest. Not at the Rodriguez family, but at the unfairness of it all. Here was a brilliant child who could change the world, and she was dying while he had billions of dollars and all the resources anyone could need. "I've already made Maya a promise," Elon said firmly. "I promised her that her magic box will help other children. But I'm not giving up on Maya herself." He pulled out his phone. "There's a surgeon in Switzerland named Dr. Elena Vasquez. She specializes in cases that other doctors think are impossible. She's performed miracles before." "Switzerland," Carlos said. "Mr. Musk, we can't. I'm calling her right now," Elon said, already dialing. "Dr. Vasquez owes me a favor. A few years ago, I helped fund her research when no one else would. She'll see Maya." The phone rang twice before a woman's voice answered. Dr. Vasquez speaking. "Elena, it's Elon Musk. I need your help." Carlos and Maria looked at each other in amazement. One of the richest men in the world was making phone calls to save their daughter. "I have a patient for you," Elon continued. "An 8-year-old girl with an aggressive brain tumor. The local doctors say it's impossible to treat." "Elon, you know I don't usually take consultations over the phone." "Elena, this isn't just any child. She's invented something that could revolutionize how we help children with communication disorders. She's built a working brain-computer interface from spare parts." There was silence on the other end of the line. "Did you say 8 years old?" Dr. Vasquez finally asked. "8 years old. And Elena, she's running out of time. Send me her medical files immediately. I'll be on a plane to Philadelphia tonight." Elon hung up and looked at Carlos and Maria. "Dr. Vasquez will be here tomorrow morning. She's the best pediatric brain surgeon in the world." Maria was crying again, but this time they looked like tears of hope. "Mr. Musk, how can we ever thank you? Take care of Maya, love her, and help me make sure her invention changes the world." Carlos stood up and shook Elon's hand firmly. "Mr. Musk, I don't care if you're the richest man on earth. To me, you're just a good man helping our little girl. Maya is special, Carlos. She sees solutions where others see problems. She has a gift that the world needs. She gets that from her mama," Carlos said, smiling at Maria. "Maria always taught Maya that. If you see someone hurting, you try to help them. And she gets her stubbornness from her papa," Maria added. Carlos taught her that impossible just means you haven't worked hard enough yet. Elon smiled. "Maya told me that exact same thing. She's lucky to have parents like you." As they walked back to Maya's room, Elon thought about his own children. Were they as wise as Maya? Did they care as much about helping others? Maya Rodriguez was facing the greatest challenge a person could face, and she was spending her time trying to make the world better for other children. Tomorrow, Dr. Vasquez would arrive. Tomorrow, they would learn if Maya's story would have a different ending than the doctors predicted. But tonight, Elon just wanted to sit with a remarkable little girl and listen to her dreams of helping others. Elon returned to Maya's room as the afternoon sun streamed through the windows. Maya was awake again, but she looked more tired than before. Her mother was helping her sip water through a straw, and her father was adjusting her pillows. "How are you feeling, Maya?" Elon asked, sitting down in the chair beside her bed. "A little tired," Maya admitted. "But I want to show you something new I've been working on." Despite her parents' worried looks, Maya reached for her magic box. "I've been thinking about kids who are afraid to go to sleep at night. You know, kids who have bad dreams or are scared of the dark." She held up a new device that looked different from the others. This one had a soft blue light and what appeared to be tiny speakers. "This version doesn't just read thoughts," Maya explained. "It can also send gentle sounds to help calm scared kids, like ocean waves or their mom's heartbeat." Elon examined the device. "Maya, how did you know that certain sounds help children feel safe?" "I asked the nurses. They told me that when babies are born, they like to hear their mom's heartbeat because it reminds them of being safe before they were born. So I recorded my mama's heartbeat and put it in the magic box." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "When did you record my heartbeat, Mija?" "Last week, when you fell asleep in the chair next to my bed. I put a stethoscope on your chest and recorded it with my phone." Maya smiled proudly. Now any scared kid can hear a mama's heartbeat when they need to feel safe. Before anyone could respond, Sarah Chen appeared in the doorway. "Maya, there's someone here who wants to meet you." A boy about 12 years old walked slowly into the room. He was using a walker and moved very carefully. His name tag said James. "Hi, Maya," James said, his words coming out slowly and unclear. "Can you help me?" Maya's face lit up. "Of course. James, this is my friend Mr. Musk. He's the rocket man." James's eyes went wide. "Really? You build rockets?" "I do," Elon said. "And Maya here builds things that help people communicate better." Maya was already reaching for one of her magic boxes. James has cerebral palsy. Sometimes it's hard for him to say words clearly, but his brain works perfectly. "Right, James?" James nodded eagerly. "Let me set this up for you," Maya said carefully, placing the thin wires near James's head. "Just think the words really clearly, and the magic box will understand." James closed his eyes and concentrated. Slowly, words appeared on the screen. "I want to tell my mom something important." "What do you want to tell her?" Maya asked. James focused again. The screen showed, "Thank you for never giving up on me." At that moment, A woman appeared in the doorway. She was James's mother, and when she saw the words on the screen, she started crying. "Oh, James," she said, rushing to hug him. "I would never give up on you. Never." James concentrated on the magic box again. The words appeared. "I know, Mom. I love you too." Elon watched this scene with amazement. Maya, who was fighting for her own life, was using her energy to help another child communicate with his mother. "James, tell Mr. Musk what you want to be when you grow up," Maya encouraged. James thought hard, and the screen displayed. "I want to be an engineer like Maya. I want to help people." "You already are helping people," Elon told James. "You're helping Maya test her invention. That makes you part of her team." James smiled the biggest smile Elon had ever seen. After James and his mother left, Dr. Elena Vasquez arrived. She was a stern-looking woman in her 50s with graying hair and sharp eyes. She carried a large briefcase and moved with purpose. "Mr. Musk," she said, shaking his hand. "I came as quickly as I could. Dr. Vasquez, thank you for coming. This is Maya Rodriguez and her parents." Dr. Vasquez looked at Maya with kind but serious eyes. "Hello, Maya. I've been reading your medical files on the plane. You're a very brave girl. Are you going to fix my brain?" Maya asked directly. "I'm going to try my best," Dr. Vasquez replied honestly. "But first, I need to do some tests and look at new pictures of your brain." Over the next few hours, Dr. Vasquez worked with the hospital's doctors. They took new scans of Maya's brain and ran several tests. Maya was tired but cooperative through everything. While they waited for results, Maya showed Dr. Vasquez her magic box. "This is remarkable," Dr. Vasquez said, examining the device. "Maya, you've created something that could help millions of children around the world." "That's what I want," Maya said. "I want every kid who can't talk to have a voice." Dr. Vasquez looked at the brain scans with Dr. Thompson, the hospital's chief surgeon. Elon and Maya's parents waited anxiously in the hallway. Finally, Dr. Vasquez came out to talk to them. "The tumor is very aggressive," she said quietly, "but it's not impossible to treat. There's a new surgical technique we've been testing in Switzerland. It's very risky, but it might be Maya's only chance." "What are the risks?" Carlos asked. "The surgery could cause brain damage that would affect her ability to think and speak. Or worse, she might not survive the operation at all." Maria gripped her husband's hand tightly. "What are the chances if we don't try?" Elon asked. "Without surgery, Maya has perhaps 1 week left. The tumor is growing very fast. And with surgery, 30% chance of complete success, 30% chance of survival with some brain damage, 40% chance." Dr. Vasquez didn't finish the sentence. Carlos and Maria looked at each other. This was an impossible decision for any parent to make. "Can we ask Maya what she wants?" Maria said finally. They went back into Maya's room. Dr. Vasquez explained the surgery in simple terms that Maya could understand. "So there's a chance the surgery could hurt my brain?" Maya asked. "Yes," Dr. Vasquez said honestly. "And there's a chance I might die during the surgery?" "Yes, that's possible too." Maya was quiet for a long moment. Then she looked at her parents. "Mama, Papa, what do you think I should do?" "It's your choice, Mija," Carlos said, his voice shaking. "We'll support whatever you decide." Maya thought for another minute. Then she looked at Dr. Vasquez with determination in her eyes. "Dr. Vasquez, if the surgery works, will I still be able to work on my magic box?" "If everything goes well, yes. And if I don't have the surgery, I won't be able to help any more kids." "That's right." Maya nodded firmly. "Then I want to try the surgery. I'm not afraid of dying, but I am afraid of not being able to help other kids." She looked at Elon. "Mr. Musk, if something happens to me during the surgery, will you promise to keep working on the magic box?" "Maya, you're going to be fine. You're going to help kids yourself. But promise me anyway, just in case." Elon took her small hand in his. "I promise, Maya. But you're going to be there to help me make it even better." Dr. Vasquez scheduled the surgery for the next morning. Maya needs to rest tonight. The operation will take several hours. As the evening grew dark, Maya worked on her magic box one more time. She was making a new version, one specifically designed for children who were scared of medical procedures. "This one plays lullabies," she explained to Elon. "And it has a special setting that lets kids send messages to their families during surgery, in case they can't talk when they wake up." Even facing the biggest challenge of her life, Maya was still thinking about how to help others. Maya, you're the bravest person I've ever met, Elon told her. I'm not brave, Mr. Musk. I'm just stubborn. My papa taught me that when something is important, you don't give up. That night, as Maya finally fell asleep, Elon sat in the chair beside her bed. Tomorrow would determine whether this remarkable little girl would get the chance to change the world. But she had already changed his. The morning sun was just beginning to rise over Philadelphia when the hospital came alive with activity. Maya woke up early, around 5 a.m., and found Elon still sitting in the chair beside her bed. He had stayed there all night, working quietly on his laptop while she slept. "Good morning, Mr. Musk," Maya said softly. "Did you sleep at all?" "Good morning, Maya. I got a little sleep. How are you feeling?" Maya stretched her arms and winced. "Slightly. My head hurts a little, but I'm okay. Are you scared about my surgery?" Elon was surprised by her direct question. "A little bit." "Are you scared?" "A little bit too," Maya admitted. "But I keep thinking about all the kids who will get to use better magic boxes if the surgery works. That makes me feel braver." Carlos and Maria arrived shortly after, carrying coffee and looking like they hadn't slept at all. Maria's eyes were red from crying, but she was trying to smile for Maya. "Buenos dias, mi amor," Maria said, kissing Maya's forehead. "How did you sleep?" "Good, Mama. I dreamed about my magic box helping kids all over the world. There were children in China and Africa and everywhere, and they were all talking to their families." Carlos sat on the edge of Maya's bed. "That's a beautiful dream, Mija. Papa, will you give me my magic box? I want to leave a message for other kids, just in case." Carlos's hands shook as he handed Maya her original device. She placed the wires on her head and concentrated. Words appeared on the small screen. "To all the kids who feel different or scared or alone, you are amazing just the way you are. Your thoughts matter. Your dreams matter. Never let anyone tell you that you can't. Change the world. Love, Maya." Maria started crying again. "Maya, that's beautiful. I want Mr. Musk to put that message in every magic box that gets made," Maya said. "So kids will always know someone believes in them." Dr. Vasquez arrived at 6 a.m. sharp. She was dressed in surgical scrubs and moved with quiet confidence. Behind her came a team of nurses and other doctors. "Good morning, Maya," Dr. Vasquez said. "Are you ready for our big day?" "I'm ready," Maya said, sitting up straighter. "Dr. Vasquez, can I ask you something?" "Of course. If the surgery doesn't work, will you help Mr. Musk make sure my magic box helps other kids?" Dr. Vasquez sat down beside Maya's bed. "Maya, you're going to help other kids yourself." "But yes, I promise to." Maya smiled. "Good. I have lots of improvements planned. I want to make a version that helps kids who are scared of thunderstorms, and one that helps kids tell their teachers when they're being bullied without having to say it out loud." A nurse came forward with a small cup of medicine. "Maya, this will help you feel sleepy and calm before the surgery." Before taking the medicine, Maya looked around the room at all the adults who cared about her. "Can I say something to everyone?" "Of course, Mija," Carlos said. Maya took a deep breath. "Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for thinking my magic box is important. And thank you for caring about kids like me who just want to help others." She looked directly at Elon. "Mr. Musk, remember what you promised me." "I remember every promise, Maya." "Good, because kids are counting on us." Maya drank the medicine and handed the cup back to the nurse. Within minutes, her eyelids started getting heavy. "I love you, Mama and Papa," she whispered. "Take care of each other." "We love you too, mi amor," Maria said, holding Maya's hand as they wheeled her bed toward the operating room. The surgery began at 7 a.m. Dr. Vasquez had explained that it would take at least 6 hours, maybe longer. Maya's parents, Elon, and Sarah Chun settled into the family waiting room. The waiting room was painted in cheerful colors, but everyone inside looked worried. Other families were there too, waiting for news about their own children. Some were reading books they couldn't concentrate on. Others were pacing back and forth. Carlos couldn't sit still. He walked to the windows, looked out at the city, then walked back to his chair. He repeated this pattern for hours. Maria sat quietly, clutching Maya's original magic box. "She gave this to me before they took her in," she told Elon. "She said, if she doesn't wake up, I should give it to you and tell you to remember that kids have the best ideas when adults take time to listen." Elon took the device carefully. It was so simple, held together with tape and determination. But it represented something much bigger than its parts. It represented hope and love and the desire to help others. Maya is going to wake up. She's too stubborn not to. She gets that from her father, Maria said, trying to smile. I heard that, Carlos said from across the room, but he was smiling too. Hours passed slowly. At 10 a.m., a nurse came out to update them. The surgery is going well. Dr. Vasquez has successfully accessed the tumor. Everything is proceeding as planned. At 1 p.m., another update. Dr. Vasquez has removed most of the tumor. She's now working on the most difficult part. By 3 p.m., everyone in the waiting room was exhausted from worry. Elon had made several phone calls to his team at Neuralink, telling them to prepare to work on Maya's magic box design. But his heart wasn't in business today. All he could think about was the brave little girl fighting for her life in the operating room. Sarah Chun brought them sandwiches, but no one was hungry. Maya would want you to eat, Sarah said gently. She's always worrying about other people, taking care of themselves. At 4:30 p.m., Dr. Vasquez finally emerged from the operating room. She was still in her surgical scrubs, and her face was tired but unreadable. Carlos and Maria stood up quickly. Elon felt his heart pounding. How is she? Maria asked, her voice barely a whisper. Doctor Vasquez paused for a moment, and Elon felt like the whole world was holding its breath. The surgery was successful, she said, and everyone in the waiting room seemed to exhale at once. We were able to remove 95% of the tumor. The remaining 5% is in a location that was too dangerous to touch, but it's small enough that radiation therapy should be able to handle it. Carlos broke down crying. She's going to be okay. She's going to need months of recovery and treatment. There will be physical therapy and radiation treatments. But yes, I believe Maya is going to be okay. Maria collapsed into her chair, sobbing with relief. Can we see her? She's in recovery now. She'll be groggy for several hours, but you can sit with her. I have to warn you, though, she may be confused when she first wakes up. That's normal after brain surgery. They followed Dr. Vasquez to the recovery room. Maya looked so small in the big hospital bed. Her head was wrapped in white bandages, and there were machines beeping around her. But she was breathing on her own, and her face looked peaceful. Maya, Maria whispered, taking her daughter's hand. Maya's eyes fluttered open slowly. She looked around the room with confusion, then focused on her mother's face. Mama, she said, her voice weak but clear. Yes, mi amor. I'm here. Papa's here too. Maya turned her head slightly and saw Carlos. Papa, did the surgery work? Yes, Mija. Dr. Vasquez says you're going to be okay. Maya's eyes found Elon standing at the foot of her bed. Mr. Musk, are you real or am I dreaming? Elon smiled. I'm real, Maya. How are you feeling? Maya thought for a moment. Tired, and my head feels funny. But she paused and looked worried. Did someone feed my magic box? It gets hungry when I'm not working on it. Everyone in the room started laughing, even Dr. Vasquez. If Maya was worried about her magic box, she was definitely going to be fine. Your magic box is safe, Elon told her. Your mama has been taking care of it. Good, Maya said, closing her eyes again. Because we have work to do. I thought of 3 new improvements while I was sleeping. Over the next few days, as Maya recovered, she amazed everyone with how quickly she bounced back. The surgery had been successful, and her brilliant mind was as sharp as ever. I want to add a feature for kids who are in the hospital, she explained. To Elon on her 3rd day after surgery, her voice was getting stronger every day. Something that lets them send messages to their pets at home. Kids miss their dogs and cats when they're sick. Dr. Vasquez checked on Maya every day. Her recovery is remarkable, she told the family. I've never seen a child bounce back so quickly from such a complex surgery. That's because she has important work to do, Carlos said proudly. A week after the surgery, Maya was sitting up in bed, working on her magic box with better components that Elon had brought her. Her hair was starting to grow back under the bandages, and her energy was returning. Mr. Musk, she said, looking up from her work. I've been thinking about something. What's that, Maya? When I get out of the hospital, can I come work with your team? I have so many ideas for making the magic box better. Elon smiled. Maya, I think my team needs you more than you need them. Really? You understand things about helping kids that we never thought of. Maya grinned. That's because kids are smarter than adults think. We just need grown-ups to listen to us. As Elon watched Maya work on her invention, he realized that the little girl had already changed his world. She had reminded him that the most important innovations come not from expensive laboratories, but from the desire to help others. Maya Rodriguez was going to be okay, and she was going to change the world. 3 months later, Maya stood in the bright Texas sunshine outside Elon's research facility in Austin. Her curly hair had grown back completely, covering the small scar from her surgery. She wore a yellow t-shirt with a rocket on it and carried a new, improved version of her magic box. "Are you ready to meet my team?" Elon asked, walking beside her toward the building. "I'm a little nervous," Maya admitted. "What if they think my ideas are silly?" "Maya, these are some of the smartest engineers in the world, but I guarantee they've never met anyone as creative as you." The Neuralink building was bigger than Maya had imagined. There were laboratories filled with computers, 3D printers, and machines she didn't recognize. Scientists in white coats worked at tables covered with tiny electronic parts. "Welcome to Neuralink, Maya," said Dr. Lisa Park, one of Elon's lead engineers. She was a woman in her 30s with short black hair and kind eyes. "We've been excited to meet you ever since Mr. Musk told us about your magic box." Maya looked around the lab with wonder. "This is amazing. You have so much cool equipment. And now we have the most important thing of all," Dr. Park said. "We have you." Elon led Maya to a special workstation they had set up just for her. It had a smaller desk, comfortable chairs, and all the tools she would need to build her devices. "This is your space," Elon explained. "You can work here whenever you want." Maya ran her hands over the clean white desk. "It's perfect. But Mr. Musk, I have a question." "What's that?" "Can we make the magic box available for free? My family never had much money, and I know lots of kids whose families can't afford expensive things." Dr. Park smiled. "Maya, we've already decided to give the magic box away for free to any child who needs it." "Really?" "Really," Elon confirmed. "We're calling it the Maya Communication Interface. MCI for short." Maya giggled. "That sounds very fancy. Will kids still understand how to use it?" "That's why you're here," Dr. Park explained. "We need you to make sure we don't make it too complicated for kids to understand." Over the next few weeks, Maya worked with the engineering team to improve her design. She tested every new version, making suggestions based on her experience with children in the hospital. "This button is too small," she said, examining the latest prototype. "Kids with shaky hands won't be able to push it, and the screen needs to be brighter." Hospital rooms are usually dark. The engineers made every change Maya suggested. She had an understanding of what children needed that the adults had never considered. "Maya, how do you know exactly what will work for kids?" asked Dr. James Wilson, another engineer on the team. "Because I listened to them," Maya said simply. "Adults sometimes forget that kids have really good ideas. You just have to ask us what we think." Maya also insisted on testing each device with real children. Every week, she visited different hospitals around Texas, bringing prototype magic boxes to kids who needed them. At Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, she met a girl named Sophia, who had autism and became overwhelmed in noisy environments. "This will help you tell people when you need quiet time," Maya explained, showing Sophia how to use the device. "You just think the words 'too loud' and they'll appear on the screen." Sophia tried it, and the words appeared perfectly. Her mother started crying. "Sophia hasn't been able to communicate her needs for 3 years," her mother told Maya. "You've given her a voice." At Dell Children's Medical Center in Austin, Maya worked with a boy named Marcus who had been in a car accident and lost his ability to speak clearly. "I want to tell my little sister a bedtime story," Marcus typed into the magic box using his thoughts. "Now you can," Maya said, adjusting the device. The magic box can read your thoughts and say the words out loud for you. That night, Marcus told his sister a story about a brave princess who helped other children. His sister fell asleep smiling. Word about Maya's work began to spread across the country. Hospitals started requesting early versions of the MCI. Maya insisted on personally testing each one before it was sent out. "I want to make sure it works for every kid," she told Elon. "Not just the smart ones like me." Children's hospitals in California, New York, and Florida all reported amazing results. Kids who hadn't been able to communicate for months or years were suddenly able to share their thoughts and feelings with their families. Dr. Sarah Martinez, a pediatric neurologist in Los Angeles, called Elon personally. Mr. Musk, Maya's device has helped 12 children in our hospital just this month. We have kids talking to their parents for the first time in years. But Maya wasn't satisfied with just helping kids in hospitals. She wanted to reach children everywhere. What about kids who are too shy to speak up in school? She asked during one of their team meetings. Or kids who are being bullied but are scared to tell their teachers? Dr. Park looked thoughtful. Maya, how would we get the devices to those children? We partner with schools, Maya said, as if it was obvious. Every classroom should have a magic box. That way, any kid who needs help communicating can use it. Within 6 months, Maya and the Neuralink team had developed versions of the MCI for different environments. There was a hospital version, a school version, and even a home version for families. The school version was especially popular. Teachers reported that shy students were participating in class discussions for the first time. Kids with learning disabilities could show what they knew without struggling to speak out loud. Mrs. Jennifer Adams, a third-grade teacher in Phoenix, sent Maya a video message. Maya, your magic box has changed my classroom completely. I have a student named David who has selective mutism. He hasn't spoken in school for 2 years. But with your device, he's the most active participant in our science discussions. Maya watched the video with tears in her eyes. That's exactly what I wanted, Mr. Musk. I wanted every kid to have a voice. The international requests started coming in next. Hospitals in England, Japan, Brazil, and Kenya all wanted to try Maya's device with their patients. Maya, your magic box is going global, Elon told her one day as they reviewed requests from around the world. That's wonderful, Maya said, clapping her hands. But we need to make sure it works in different languages too. How do you think we should do that? Maya thought for a moment. We ask kids from those countries to help us. Kids understand other kids better than adults do. Soon, Maya was video chatting with children from around the world, working together to adapt the magic box for different languages and cultures. A boy named Hiroshi in Tokyo helped create a Japanese version. A girl named Amara in Nairobi worked on a Swahili version. Children everywhere were collaborating to help other children communicate. This is bigger than I ever imagined, Maya told her parents one evening as they ate dinner at their new house. Elon had insisted on buying them a home after Maya's recovery, saying it was a small thank you for sharing their daughter with the world. We're so proud of you, Mija, Carlos said. You've helped so many children, and you're just getting started. Maria added, I saw the news report yesterday. They said over 50,000 children are using your magic box now. Maya's eyes went wide. 50,000? Really? Really? Carlos confirmed. Our little girl is famous. I don't care about being famous, Papa. I just care that kids don't have to feel alone anymore. That weekend, Maya received an invitation that made her jump up and down with excitement. The President of the United States wanted to meet her at the White House. Mr. Musk, can you come with me? Maya asked. I'm going to be nervous meeting the President. Of course, Maya. I wouldn't miss it. The White House visit was scheduled for the following month. Maya spent weeks preparing, not because she was nervous about meeting the President, but because she wanted to bring him a special magic box designed specifically for government buildings. This version helps people who don't speak English very well communicate with government workers, Maya explained to Elon. My neighbor Mrs. Chun sometimes needs help understanding forms and documents. This could help people like her. As Maya put the finishing touches on her special presidential magic box, Elon marveled at how much the little girl had accomplished in just 9 months since that first phone call. She had survived brain surgery, revolutionized communication technology, and helped thousands of children around the world. But more than that, she had shown everyone that the most important innovations come from the desire to help others. Maya, are you ready to meet the President? Elon asked. I'm ready, Maya said, carefully packing her magic box. But Mr. Musk, do you think the President would be interested in hearing about my next invention? What's your next invention? Maya's eyes sparkled with excitement. A device that helps kids who are scared of the dark communicate with their parents through the walls. I call it the Midnight Magic Box. Elon laughed. Maya, I think the President is going to be very interested in everything you have to say. As They prepared for their trip to Washington, D.C. Elon reflected on how much his life had changed since that 2 a.m. phone call. He had thought he was going to help a dying little girl. Instead, she had taught him what it really meant to change the world. Maya Rodriguez had kept every promise she had made. She had helped thousands of children find their voices. She had shown that innovation comes from love, not just intelligence. And she had proven that sometimes the most important calls come from the smallest voices. 1 year after that life-changing phone call, Maya stood on the steps of the White House, holding a special briefcase containing her latest magic box designs. She wore a navy blue dress that her mother had picked out for the occasion, and her hair was held back with a headband decorated with tiny stars. "Are you nervous?" Elon asked as they walked toward the Oval Office. "A little," Maya admitted. "But I keep thinking about all the kids who might get help if the president likes our ideas." President Harris welcomed them warmly. She was younger than Maya had expected, with kind eyes and a smile that made Maya feel less nervous. "Maya Rodriguez," the president said, shaking her hand. "It's an honor to meet you. I've been hearing amazing things about your magic box." "Thank you, Madam President. I brought you something special." Maya opened her briefcase and pulled out a sleek white device. "This is the government communication interface. It helps people who don't speak English very well talk to government workers. My neighbor Mrs. Chun gave me the idea." The president examined the device carefully. "This is incredible, Maya. How does it work?" "You think in your native language, and it translates your thoughts into English on the screen. Then the government worker can type back, and it translates their words into your language. Maya, this could help millions of people who need government services but struggle with the language barrier." "That's what I hoped," Maya said proudly. During their meeting, the president announced that the Maya communication interface would be made available in every children's hospital in the United States, completely free of charge. Maya Rodriguez represents the very best of American innovation, the president said during the announcement. "She's shown us that the most powerful technology comes from the desire to help others." After the White House visit, Maya's story spread around the world. News reporters from dozens of countries wanted to interview her. Time magazine named her one of the most influential people under 18. But Maya was more interested in the letters she received from children who were using her device. Emma, age 7, from London wrote, "Dear Maya, I have autism and used to get scared when people talk too loud. Now I can tell my teacher I need quiet time, and she understands. Thank you for helping me." Carlos, age 12, from Mexico City wrote, "Maya, I had a stroke and couldn't talk to my family for 6 months. Yesterday, I told my mama I love her using your magic box. She cried happy tears." Aisha, age 10, from Cairo wrote, "I am very shy and never talked in school. Now I can answer questions with my thoughts, and my teacher says I'm the smartest student in class." Maya read every single letter. She kept them in a special box in her room and read them whenever she felt sad or tired. "These letters are better than any award," she told her parents. "They remind me why we do this work." The impact of Maya's invention continued to grow. Children's hospitals around the world reported remarkable improvements in patient care. Kids who had been isolated by their inability to communicate were suddenly able to share their needs, fears, and dreams. Dr. Michael Thompson, the chief surgeon at Shriners Children's Hospital where Maya had first been treated, called it the most significant advancement in pediatric communication I've seen in 30 years of medicine. Schools also reported amazing changes. Teachers said that classrooms were more inclusive because every child could participate, regardless of their speaking abilities. Mrs. Rodriguez, Maya's former third-grade teacher, sent a video message. "Maya, you've changed how I teach. Now I know that every child has important thoughts, even if they can't always speak them out loud." But Maya's biggest impact was on the children themselves. Kids who had felt different or broken began to see themselves as capable and valuable. Tommy, the boy who had been in the bed next to Maya during her hospital stay, was now using an advanced version of the magic box at his new school. He had become the class expert on space and planets, sharing his knowledge through the device when speaking was difficult. James, the boy with cerebral palsy who Maya had helped in the hospital, was now writing stories on his magic box. His teachers said he had a gift for creative writing that no one had known about before. Maya visited them both regularly, always bringing new improvements to their devices. "Maya, you saved my life," Tommy told her during one visit, using his magic box to communicate. "Not just because you helped me talk, because you helped me believe I had something important to say." As Maya's 10th birthday approached, Elon asked her what she wanted for her party. "I want to have it at the hospital," Maya said without hesitation. "I want to celebrate with all the kids who are still fighting their battles." "Are you sure? We could have a big party anywhere you want." "Mr. Musk, the hospital is where my magic box was born. It's where I learned that helping others is the most important thing you can do. That's where I want to celebrate." Maya's birthday party at Shriners Children's Hospital was unlike any birthday party anyone had ever seen. Children from all over the hospital came to celebrate, many of them using magic boxes to communicate with the other kids. The party room was decorated with pictures drawn by children from around the world who had sent artwork to thank Maya. There were rockets and stars and rainbows, but also pictures of kids helping other kids. "Make a wish, Mija," Maria said as Maya blew out the candles on her cake. Maya closed her eyes tightly and made her wish. When she opened them, she was smiling. "What did you wish for?" Carlos asked. "I wish that every kid in the world who feels different or scared or alone will know that they're not really alone. That someone, somewhere, cares about them and believes they can do amazing things." After the party, Maya showed Elon her latest project. She had been working on it secretly for months. "I call it the Global Kids Network," she explained, pointing to drawings and diagrams spread across her desk. "It's a way for kids using magic boxes all over the world to connect with each other." How would it work? Kids could share their thoughts and ideas with other kids who understand what they're going through. A shy kid in Japan could talk to a shy kid in Brazil. A kid with autism in Canada could share tips with a kid with autism in Australia. Elon studied Maya's designs. Once again, she had thought of something that professional engineers had missed. "Maya, this could help millions of children feel less alone." That's the idea. Kids need to know that other kids understand them. Sometimes talking to another kid helps more than talking to adults. 6 months later, the Global Kids Network launched. Within its first week, over 10,000 children from 47 countries had joined. Kids were sharing stories, offering encouragement, and forming friendships across continents. A girl in South Africa, who was recovering from a brain injury, became friends with a boy in Norway who had been through similar surgery. They shared their experiences and encouraged each other through difficult days. A shy boy in India found confidence by helping other shy children around the world learn to express themselves. Children who had felt completely alone discovered that there were kids just like them everywhere. Kids who understood their struggles and celebrated their victories. Maya monitored the network carefully, making sure it remained a safe and supportive space for children. "This is what I always dreamed of," she told Elon as they watched kids from different countries collaborate on a digital art project. Kids helping kids. Kids showing other kids that they matter. The Global Kids Network inspired something else. Amazing. Young inventors around the world began creating their own devices to help others. A 12-year-old boy in Japan created a modified version of the Magic Box that helped elderly patients with dementia communicate with their families. A teenage girl in Brazil developed an app based on Maya's principles that helped children report bullying anonymously. A group of high school students in Canada built a simplified version of the Magic Box using 3D printing, making the technology even more accessible to families who couldn't afford advanced electronics. "Maya started something bigger than any of us imagined," Elon said during a television interview. "She proved that the most powerful innovations come from empathy, not just intelligence." She's inspired a whole generation of young inventors to focus on helping others. Maya was invited to speak at technology conferences around the world. Unlike most speakers who talked about profits and market share, Maya talked about something different. Technology should make people feel less alone, not more alone, she said during her speech at the Global Innovation Summit in Silicon Valley. Before you build anything, ask yourself, will this help someone who is hurting? Will this make a lonely kid feel less lonely? Will this give someone hope? The audience of accomplished engineers and business leaders gave her a standing ovation. Many of them left that conference and changed their approach to innovation, focusing more on human impact than financial gain. By her 11th birthday, Maya's Magic Box had helped over 100,000 children worldwide. The Global Kids Network had connected young people from every continent, and Maya's story had inspired countless other children to believe that they too could change the world. But Maya wasn't done yet. She had more ideas, more problems to solve, more children to help. "Mr. Musk," she said one day as they worked together in the lab, "I've been thinking about kids who are afraid of going to sleep at night. Kids who have nightmares or are scared of the dark. What did you have in mind?" Maya's eyes sparkled with excitement. The Dream Helper Magic Box. It would monitor a child's brain waves while they sleep and play calming sounds or gentle vibrations if they start having a nightmare. Elon shook his head in amazement. "Maya, is there any problem you can't solve?" "I don't know yet," Maya said. "Seriously, but I'm going to keep trying until every kid feels safe and understood." As Elon watched Maya work on her newest invention, he realized that the little girl who had almost died 2 years ago had not only survived, she had thrived. And in thriving, she had made the world a better place for countless other children. Maya Rodriguez had changed the world. But more importantly, she had shown everyone that changing the world was possible. One child at a time. 2 years after that first midnight phone call, Maya sat in her favorite spot at the Austin Research Facility, surrounded by drawings and prototypes. Now 12 years old, she had grown taller, but her determination to help other children remained as strong as ever. "Maya, you have visitors," Dr. Lisa Park announced, walking into the lab with a group of children behind her. Maya looked up from her work to see 5 kids, each around her age, standing nervously in the doorway. They were from different countries and looked excited but shy. "Hello," Maya said warmly, setting down her tools. "I'm Maya. Are you here to see the Magic Box Lab?" A boy with dark hair stepped forward. "I'm Ravi from Mumbai, India. I lost my ability to speak after a car accident. Your magic box helped me talk to my family again." Maya's face lit up. "Ravi, I remember your letter. You said you wanted to become an engineer like me." "I do," Ravi said, using his magic box to communicate since speaking was still difficult. The words appeared on a small screen. "I've been working on my own invention, a device that helps kids with brain injuries exercise their memory." Maya clapped her hands excitedly. "That's amazing. Can you show me?" Next, a girl with blonde hair spoke up. "I'm Sophie from London. I had selective mutism and couldn't speak in school for 3 years. Your device helped me find my voice." "Sophie," Maya said, remembering her story. "How are you doing now?" "Much better. I'm actually giving speeches at schools now, telling other kids with selective mutism that they're not alone. I created a support group using your Global Kids Network." "Hey," quiet girl with glasses stepped forward. "I'm Lily from Tokyo. I have autism, and crowds used to overwhelm me. Your magic box helped me communicate when I needed quiet time." "And now?" Maya asked gently. Lily smiled. "Now I help other kids with autism learn to use the magic box. I've trained 50 kids in Japan so far." The 4th child, a boy with a bright smile, introduced himself. "I'm Diego from Sao Paulo, Brazil. I was born with cerebral palsy. Your magic box helped me participate in class for the first time." "Diego, I love your smile," Maya said. "What are you working on now?" "I'm teaching other kids with cerebral palsy how to code using the magic box. We're creating apps to help people with disabilities." Finally, a girl with curly red hair spoke up. "I'm Emma from Toronto, Canada. I was really shy and never talked to anyone. Your magic box helped me make friends. And now you're traveling around the world meeting new people," Maya observed. "You're definitely not shy anymore." Emma laughed. "I started a program called Shy Kids Unite, where shy children from different countries become pen pals through the Global Kids Network." Elon, who had been watching from the doorway, stepped into the room. "Maya, these 5 kids represent something incredible. They're all young inventors now, creating their own solutions to help other children." Maya looked at the 5 children with wonder. "You're all inventors now." "Because of you," Ravi said. "You showed us that kids can solve problems that adults miss. You taught us that helping others is the most important thing we can do," Sophie added. "You proved that being different isn't a problem to fix, it's a strength to use," Lily said quietly. "You showed us that innovation comes from love, not just intelligence," Diego said. "And you taught us that one person really can change the world," Emma finished. Maya felt tears in her eyes. "But I didn't do anything special. I just wanted to help my friends." That's exactly what made it special, Elon said. Maya, you didn't just invent a device. You started a movement. Over the next few hours, the 6 children worked together in the lab. They shared ideas, improved each other's inventions, and planned new projects to help even more kids. Ravi showed them his memory exercise device. It helps kids with brain injuries practice remembering things through fun games. Sophie demonstrated her anti-bullying app. Kids can report bullying anonymously, and the app connects them with counselors and support groups. Lily presented her sensory overload detector. It monitors stress levels and suggests coping strategies for kids with autism. Diego shared his adaptive gaming controller. Kids with physical disabilities can play video games using eye movements and thoughts. Emma showed her confidence-building platform. Shy kids can practice conversations in a safe, virtual environment before trying them in real life. This is incredible, Maya said, looking at all their inventions. You've all found ways to help kids that I never thought of. That's the point, Elon said. Maya, you didn't just solve one problem. You inspired a whole generation of problem solvers. The children spent the rest of the day planning something special, the first annual Young Inventors for Kids conference. They would invite children from around the world who were creating solutions to help other children. We could have workshops where kids teach other kids how to invent, Maya suggested, and sharing sessions where kids can talk about problems they want to solve, Ravi added. We could connect young inventors with the kids who need their inventions, Sophie said. And we could show adults that kids have really good ideas, Lily said. Most importantly, we could show kids everywhere that they have the power to make things better, Diego concluded. I love this idea, Emma said. When should we have it? How about next month? Maya suggested. We could hold it here in Austin, and kids could join virtually from around the world. Elon smiled as he watched the 6 children plan their conference. Maya had indeed started something bigger than anyone had imagined. 6 months later, the Young Inventors for Kids conference had become an annual event that brought together hundreds of children from around the world. Kids as young as 8 and as old as 18 shared their inventions, collaborated on new projects, and inspired each other to keep solving problems. The second annual conference, a 9-year-old girl from Kenya presented a water purification device she had built from local materials. A 13-year-old boy from Alaska shared his early warning system for kids who were being abused at home. A group of teenagers from multiple countries collaborated on a translation device for refugee children. Maya started all of this, Dr. Park told a reporter covering the conference. She showed the world that children aren't just the future of innovation, they're the present of innovation. But Maya's impact went beyond inspiring other young inventors. Her work had changed how adults thought about children and technology. Medical schools now taught courses on pediatric-centered design, encouraging future doctors to involve children in creating medical devices. Technology companies started hiring kid consultants to make sure their products actually met children's needs. Schools began including empathy engineering in their curriculum, teaching students to design solutions for people different from themselves. Maya Rodriguez changed more than just communication technology, said Dr. Sarah Martinez, the pediatric neurologist from Los Angeles. She changed how we think about who can be an inventor and what problems are worth solving. Universities around the world established Maya Rodriguez scholarships for young people who wanted to study engineering to help others. The scholarships weren't just for the smartest students, but for students who showed the most compassion. Maya was invited to speak at the Global Health Summit, where world leaders discussed how to improve healthcare for children. Adults often make things complicated because they forget what it's like to be a kid, Maya told the audience of presidents, prime ministers, and health ministers. If you want to help children, start by listening to children. Her speech led to the creation of children's advisory panels in hospitals and schools around the world. Kids now had official roles in designing the services meant to help them. The most touching moment of Maya's growing influence came during a visit to a children's hospital in Mumbai, India. She was there to help train doctors on using the magic box when a little boy, maybe 6 years old, approached her. "Are you the magic box lady?" he asked in broken English. "I am," Maya said, kneeling down to his level. The boy hugged her tightly. "Thank you for helping kids like me. My big sister uses your magic box, and now she can tell Mama when she's scared." Maya hugged him back, remembering how scared she had been in her own hospital bed just 3 years ago. "What's your name?" she asked. "Arjun," he said proudly. "Arjun, do you want to help other kids someday too?" He nodded enthusiastically. "I want to build something that helps kids who are scared of shots." Maya smiled. "That's a great idea, Arjun. I think you're going to be an amazing inventor." As Maya watched Arjun run back to his family, she realized that her work had created something beautiful, a world where children believed they could solve problems and help others. Kids who had once felt powerless now felt capable. Children who had thought they were too young to make a difference now knew they could change the world. That Maya's magic box had given voices to children who couldn't speak. But more than that, it had given confidence to children who didn't believe. Their voices mattered. The ripple effect of Maya's work continued to spread. Every child who used a magic box inspired someone else. Every young inventor at the conference motivated their classmates. Every story of a kid helping another kid showed the world what was possible. "Maya," Elon said one evening as they worked together in the lab, "do you realize what you've accomplished?" "I've helped some kids communicate better," Maya said modestly. "You've done much more than that. You've created a generation of children who believe they can change the world. And you know what? They're proving you right." Maya looked around the lab at all the inventions created by young people inspired by her work. Devices to help kids with diabetes manage their condition. Apps to connect children in hospitals with therapy animals. Games that helped kids with ADHD focus better in school. "I think the most important thing I've learned," Maya said thoughtfully, "is that helping one person can help everyone. When you solve a problem for one kid, you're really solving it for all kids with that problem. And when you inspire one kid to become an inventor," Elon added, "you're really inspiring them to help thousands of other kids." Maya nodded. "That's the best part. Every kid we help today might help even more kids tomorrow." As Maya returned to work on her latest invention, a device to help children in refugee camps communicate with aid workers, she thought about that scared 8-year-old girl who had first built a magic box in a hospital room. That little girl had just wanted to help her friend Tommy talk to his mother. She never imagined that her simple act of kindness would inspire thousands of other children to believe they could change the world too. But maybe that was the point. Maybe the biggest changes always started with someone just trying to help one person. 3 years after that life-changing 2 a.m. phone call, Maya Rodriguez was now 13 years old and working on her most ambitious project yet. She sat in Elon's home office in Austin, surrounded by blueprints and computer screens, designing a device that could help children communicate through dreams. The Dream Bridge Magic Box could help kids who have trouble expressing their feelings. When they're awake, Maya explained to Elon as she adjusted some wires. "Sometimes it's easier to understand what we really feel when we're dreaming." Elon watched her work with the same amazement he'd felt since the day they first met. Maya's hair was longer now, pulled back in a ponytail, and she wore glasses for reading. But her determination to help others remained exactly the same. "Maya, you never stop amazing me with your ideas," Elon said, looking over her shoulder at the design. Maya looked up from her work with a mischievous smile that Elon had never seen before. "Mr. Musk, I have something to tell you." "What's that?" Maya set down her tools and turned to face him completely. "Do you remember that night when Sarah called you? When she said I was dying and that I had built something incredible? Of course, that call changed everything." Maya's smile grew wider, and her eyes sparkled with mischief. "I wasn't dying." Elon stopped reading the papers on his desk. "What do you mean?" I had the tumor, yes, and it was serious. But Dr. Thompson had already told my parents that morning that it was operable. The surgery was actually scheduled for the following week." Elon stared at her. "But Sarah said exactly what I asked her to say." Maya's eyes twinkled with pride. "I had been trying to get your attention for months, Mr. Musk. I sent emails to Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink. I even tried calling your office 15 times. But nobody would listen to a kid." Elon felt his mouth drop open. "Maya, you lied to me?" "I didn't lie about the magic box. I really built it, and it really worked. I didn't lie about wanting to help other kids. But I may have exaggerated about the dying part." Elon couldn't help but laugh. "You manipulated me." "I prefer to think of it as strategic communication," Maya said proudly. "I learned that from watching your business interviews on YouTube." You always said that when you really believe in something, you have to be willing to take big risks to make it happen. So you risked getting in trouble with one of the most powerful people in the world. I risked it because I knew you would understand. You're the rocket man. You take impossible dreams and make them real. I just needed you to see that my dream was worth taking seriously. Elon shook his head in disbelief. Maya, you realize you basically tricked me into starting a multi-billion-dollar research project. Maya tilted her head thoughtfully. Did it work? It worked perfectly. Maya grinned. Good, because I had backup plans too. Backup plans. If you hadn't come that night, I was going to have Sarah call Jeff Bezos the next night. And if he didn't come, we were going to try Bill Gates. Elon laughed, so hard he nearly fell out of his chair. You had a whole list of billionaires to trick? I researched everyone who might care about helping kids. You were first on my list because you actually answer your own phone sometimes. The others have too many assistants. Maya, how did you even get Sarah to help you? Maya's expression grew more serious. Sarah was real, and she really cared about the kids in the hospital. I told her my plan, and at first she said no. But then she met Tommy and saw how much my magic box helped him. She realized that sometimes you have to break a few rules to help kids who really need it. And your parents? Did they know? Mama and Papa knew I was trying to contact you, but they didn't know exactly how I was going to do it. They thought I was just going to send you another email. Maya giggled. When you showed up at the hospital, they were as surprised as everyone else. Elon thought back to that night 3 years ago. So when I drove 4 hours to Philadelphia thinking I was going to meet a dying genius. You were going to meet a genius who was very much planning to live and change the world, Maya finished. I just knew you wouldn't come for a regular kid with a cool invention, but you would come for a kid who was running out of time. Maya, what you did was crazy, dishonest, manipulative. Brilliant, Elon said. Absolutely brilliant. Maya beamed. Really? Really? You identified a problem. No one was taking your invention seriously because you were a kid. You researched a solution, finding someone who might care enough to listen. You took a calculated risk, the dramatic phone call, and you executed perfectly. Don't forget the most important part, Maya added. What's that? I delivered on my promise. I really did have an incredible invention that could help thousands of kids. I wasn't lying about that. Elon nodded slowly. You're right. You gave me exactly what you promised. A world-changing invention and a remarkable young inventor. Maya grew thoughtful. Mr. Musk, can I tell you why I really did it? Please. I was scared that I would die before I could help anyone. Not because of the tumor, the doctors said that was fixable, but because I was just a kid and nobody listens to kids when they have big ideas. Maya's voice became passionate. I saw Tommy crying every day because he couldn't talk to his mother. I saw kids giving up on their dreams because they thought being different meant they couldn't do important things. I knew my magic box could help them, but I also knew that no adult would take an 8-year-old seriously. So you created a situation where I had to take you seriously. Exactly. I figured if you came thinking I was dying, you'd have to listen to my ideas. And once you saw that the magic box really worked, you'd want to help make it better. Elon looked at this extraordinary girl, this brilliant, scheming, compassionate 13-year-old who had outsmarted him completely. Maya, what you did was manipulative, but it was also necessary. Heroic, Elon said. You saw kids who needed help, and you refused to let adult prejudices stop you from helping them. Maya smiled. I learned something important that night, Mr. Musk. What's that? Sometimes you have to make adults pay attention before you can make them listen. And sometimes making them listen is the most important thing you can do. Elon thought about all the children who had been helped by Maya's invention over the past 3 years. Hundreds of thousands of kids around the world could now communicate because of that one strategic phone call. Maya, do you ever feel bad about tricking me? Maya considered this seriously. I felt bad about not being completely honest, but I don't feel bad about the results. Tommy can talk to his mother now. James can tell stories. Kids all over the world can share their thoughts and feelings. That's worth a little deception. And Sarah? Is she still helping you? Sarah is now the Director of Child Communication Services at Shriners Hospital. She helps train doctors all over the world on how to use magic boxes with their patients. You found a way to reward her for helping you. She took a risk to help kids she didn't even know. That deserved a reward. Maya picked up her tools and returned to working on her Dream Bridge device. Mr. Musk, Can I ask you something? Anything. Are you glad I tricked you that night? Elon looked around his office, which was now filled with prototypes and designs for devices that helped children communicate. He thought about the thousands of kids whose lives had been changed, the young inventors Maya had inspired, and the little girl who had taught him that the most important innovations come from love. Maya, that phone call was the best thing that ever happened to me. Really, really, you taught me what it means to truly change the world. Maya grinned mischievously. Good, because I have another idea that's going to need your help. What? Is it now? I want to create a device that helps kids who are afraid of getting lost communicate their location to their parents. I call it the Adventure Buddy Magic Box. Elon groaned playfully. Maya, promise me you'll just ask for help this time instead of staging another emergency. I promise, Maya said, laughing. But only because now I know you'll listen to kids. Ideas even when they're not dying. Especially when they're not dying. Elon corrected as Maya worked on her new invention. Elon reflected on the past 3 years. A supposedly dying girl's desperate midnight call had turned out to be a brilliant, child's calculated plan to save others. Maya had played him perfectly, and he couldn't be more grateful. She had proven that sometimes the most important calls don't come from other billionaires or world leaders, but from children who see the world as it could be, not as it is. Maya had taught him that kids don't just have good ideas, they have the best ideas. Because they haven't learned yet that some things are supposed to be impossible. Maya looked up from her work one more time. Mr. Musk? Yes, Maya. Thank you for answering your phone that night. Even though I tricked you. Thank you for being brave enough to make that call. Even though you tricked me. Maya smiled and returned to her invention, already planning her next move to change the world. Because some dreams are too important to wait for permission, and some problems are too urgent to let adult skepticism get in the way. The girl who had once pretended she couldn't speak had found the perfect way to give millions of other children their voices. And in the process, she had taught the world that the most important innovations come not from laboratories or boardrooms, but from the hearts of children who refuse to accept that things can't get better. Maya Rodriguez had indeed changed everything. But the biggest change wasn't in the technology she created. It was in proving that children's ideas matter, that young voices deserve to be heard, and that sometimes the most important revolutions begin with a single phone call from someone brave enough to demand that the world listen. 5 years after that calculated midnight phone call, Maya Rodriguez stood on the stage of the United Nations headquarters in New York City. At 15 years old, she was the youngest person ever invited to address the General Assembly about children's rights and innovation. The massive hall was filled with world leaders, diplomats, and delegates from 193 countries. But Maya wasn't nervous. She had learned that when you're fighting for something important, fear becomes fuel. My name is Maya Rodriguez, she began, her voice clear and confident. 5 years ago, I was a sick kid in a hospital who saw other children suffering in silence. Today, over 1 million children around the world can communicate because we refuse to accept that silence. She paused and looked out at the sea of faces. But I'm not here to talk about my magic box. I'm here to talk about something more important. I'm here to talk about listening to children. Maya clicked a button, and the giant screens around the hall lit up with pictures of young inventors from around the world. This is Amara from Kenya. She's 12 years old, and she invented a water purification system that serves her entire village. This is Chun from China. He's 10, and he created an app that helps elderly people remember to take their medicine. This is Isabella from Brazil. She's 14, and she built a device that detects early signs of malnutrition in babies. More pictures flashed on the screen. Kids of all ages, from every continent, holding their inventions and smiling proudly. These children didn't wait for permission to change the world. They saw problems and solved them. But here's what's amazing, every single one of them told me they got the idea to become an inventor after hearing about a kid who built something to help other kids. Maya smiled. They didn't get inspired by adult inventors or famous scientists. They got inspired by other children. Because kids inspire kids in ways that adults never can. She walked closer to the audience. 5 years ago, I had to trick an adult into listening to my ideas. I had to pretend I was dying to get someone to take my invention seriously. But that taught me something important about how the world works. Maya's voice grew stronger. Adults think children are the future. But we're not just the future, We're the present. We have ideas right now that could solve problems right now. We see solutions that adults miss because we haven't learned yet that some things are supposed to be impossible. The audience was completely silent, hanging on every word. Last month, I received a letter from a 7-year-old girl in Australia. She wrote, "Dear Maya, I want to build something to help trees talk to people when they're sick." Adults might think that's silly, but what if it's not? What if this little girl sees something that botanists and environmental scientists have missed? Maya clicked to the next slide, showing statistics. In the past 5 years, children using the principles I learned from my magic box have created over 50,000 new inventions. Devices to help people with disabilities, apps to connect isolated elderly people with families, systems to detect bullying. In schools, games that help kids with anxiety feel calmer. She paused for effect. 50,000 solutions to human problems, created by people who aren't old enough to vote. Imagine what we could accomplish if every adult in every country made one simple commitment: to listen to children not just with patience, but with respect. Maya's voice became passionate. I'm asking each of you to return to your countries and create children's innovation councils. Give kids official roles in solving the problems that affect them. Stop making decisions about children's lives without including children's voices. A delegate from Sweden raised her hand. Ms. Rodriguez, how do we know which children's ideas are worth pursuing? Maya smiled. The same way you decide which adult ideas are worth pursuing. You listen, you evaluate, you test. But you don't dismiss an idea just because it comes from someone young. What about resources? Asked a delegate from Japan. These innovations require funding and support. The Maya Rodriguez Foundation has already committed to funding children's inventions in any country that creates a Children's Innovation Council. Elon announced from the audience. Maya hadn't known he was going to say that, but she beamed with gratitude. After her speech, Maya was surrounded by delegates asking questions and sharing stories about remarkable children in their own countries. The Prime Minister of New Zealand approached her. Ms. Rodriguez, my daughter is 8 years old, and she's been designing better playground equipment for children with disabilities. After hearing your speech, I think I need to take her ideas more seriously. You absolutely do, Maya said firmly. Children who design things for other children understand needs that adults often miss. The Minister of Education from Finland shared his own story. We have a 10-year-old boy who claims he can solve our country's reading problems with a new teaching method. We thought it was cute, but now you should give him a chance to prove it, Maya finished. The worst that could happen is you learn something new. That evening, Maya and Elon had dinner at a quiet restaurant near the UN building. Maya looked tired but happy. How does it feel to address world leaders? Elon asked. Honestly, it felt like talking to really important kids who forgot they used to have big dreams too, Maya said, cutting into her pasta. Most of them seemed surprised that children could have serious ideas. And now some of them are going home to listen to their own kids differently. That's worth more than any award or recognition. Maya's phone buzzed with a message. She read it and started laughing. What is it? Elon asked. Remember Tommy? The boy who couldn't speak when I first met him in the hospital. Of course. He just got accepted to MIT. He wants to study biomedical engineering. He says he's going to invent devices to help kids with brain injuries. Elon smiled. The ripple effect continues. It never stops, Maya agreed. Tommy will help kids who will grow up to help other kids. Every child we help becomes someone who helps more children. Over the following months, 17 countries established children's innovation councils. Kids as young as 6 were given official roles in designing solutions for education, healthcare, and social problems. Maya received updates from around the world. In Denmark, a 9-year-old girl's idea for color-coded medicine bottles was adopted nationwide, reducing medication errors in elderly patients by 40%. That in Canada, a 12-year-old boy's design for sensory-friendly classrooms was implemented in over 200 schools, helping thousands of children with autism learn more effectively. In South Africa, a group of children created a mobile app that helped their community report water problems and track repairs, solving a crisis that had lasted for years. Adults had been trying to solve these problems for decades, Maya told Elon during one of their regular lab sessions. But they were designing solutions based on what they thought children needed, not what children actually needed. Maya, now In her sophomore year of high school, continued to split her time between her regular education and her work with the foundation. She had turned down early admission to several prestigious universities, preferring to keep learning from the children she worked with. College will always be there, she told her parents. But these kids need help right now. Her latest project was perhaps her most ambitious yet: the Global Children's Communication Network, a system that would allow any child anywhere in the world to share ideas and collaborate on inventions with other children. Imagine if that 7-year-old in Australia who wants trees to talk to people could work with a 10-year-old botanist in Costa Rica and a 12-year-old programmer in India, Maya explained to the foundation's board of directors. That's incredibly complex, one board member noted. Not really, Maya said with a grin. Kids are already doing it informally through social media and gaming platforms. We just need to create a safe, structured way for them to collaborate on serious projects. 6 months later, the Global Children's Communication Network launched with 10,000 young inventors from 89 countries. Within the first week, over 500 collaborative projects had begun. A group of kids from flood-prone areas in Bangladesh, Philippines, and Louisiana were working together on an early warning system for families. Children from urban areas around the world were collaborating on designs for vertical gardens that could grow food in small spaces. Kids who had experienced natural disasters were sharing their ideas for emergency communication systems that would work when regular technology failed. It's exactly what I hoped would happen, Maya told a reporter covering the network's launch. When children collaborate across cultures and countries, they create solutions that work for children everywhere. The reporter asked, "What's next for Maya Rodriguez?" Maya thought for a moment. "I want to make sure that by the time I'm an adult, the world has changed enough that no kid ever has to trick a grown-up into listening to their ideas. I want children's voices to be valued from the start. And after that," Maya smiled mischievously, "after that, I might actually go to college. I hear they have some pretty interesting engineering programs." On the 5th anniversary of her first Magic Box, Maya received a letter that made her cry happy tears. It was from Sarah Chun, the nurse who had made that fateful phone call. "Dear Maya," it read, "5 years ago, you asked me to help you save the world by making one phone call. I had no idea what we were starting. Today, I became the director of the International Children's Communication Institute. My job is to train medical professionals around the world to listen to children not just as patients, but as partners in their own healthcare. I think about that scared little girl in room 312 who was so determined to help her friends that she was willing to stage her own dramatic rescue. You weren't just building a magic box that night. You were building a revolution. Thank you for teaching me that sometimes the most important thing a grown-up can do is help a child demand that the world listen. Love, Sarah P.S. I still have your original magic box on my desk. It reminds me every day that the most powerful technology comes from the desire to help others." Maya showed the letter to Elon that evening. "Sarah gets it," Maya said. "She understands that what we really did was prove that children's ideas matter. Maya, in 5 years, you've helped over 1 million children communicate, inspired tens of thousands of young inventors, and convinced world leaders to create official roles for children in solving global problems. What are you most proud of?" Maya didn't hesitate. "I'm most proud that kids like Tommy and James and all the others believe they can change the world. Because they can. They always could. They just needed someone to show them it was possible." As they worked together on Maya's latest invention, a device that would help children in war zones communicate safely with relief workers, Elon reflected on how much his life had changed since that manipulative midnight phone call. Maya had tricked him into starting a revolution. She had proven that the most important innovations come not from billion-dollar laboratories, but from the hearts of children who refuse to accept that suffering is inevitable. Most importantly, she had shown the world that children aren't just tomorrow's leaders, they're today's problem solvers, innovators, and agents of change. The girl who had once pretended she couldn't speak had given voice to an entire generation. And that generation was proving every day that when adults finally learn to listen to children, amazing things become possible. Maya Rodriguez had not only changed the world, she had changed how the world thought about who could be a world changer. And that, perhaps, was the most important magic of all. 10 years after Sarah Chun made that fateful phone call at 2:47 a.m., Maya Rodriguez sat in her own office at the Maya Rodriguez Institute for Child Innovation in Austin, Texas. At 18 years old, she had deferred college for the third time, choosing instead to focus on what she called the most important work of our generation. The walls of her office were covered with pictures sent by children from around the world. Kids holding their own inventions, smiling proudly as they demonstrated devices they had built to help their communities. Each photo included a handwritten note thanking Maya for showing them that their ideas mattered. Maya was reviewing applications for the Institute's newest program when her assistant knocked on the door. "Maya, there's a call for you on line 1. It's from a hospital in Mumbai." Maya looked at the clock. It was 11:30 p.m. in Austin, which meant it was early morning in India. She picked up the phone, immediately concerned. "This is Maya Rodriguez." "Ms. Rodriguez, my name is Dr. Priya Sharma. I'm calling from Apollo Children's Hospital in Mumbai. I'm sorry to call so late your time, but we have a situation with one of our patients." Maya felt a familiar chill. "Is the child okay?" "He's stable, but..." "Ms. Rodriguez, we have a 7-year-old boy named Arjun Patel. He's been in our hospital for 2 months with a rare neurological condition that affects his ability to process spoken language. But he's built something incredible." Maya sat up straighter. This sounded familiar. What did he build? "A device that translates sound waves into colors and patterns. He can't understand words, but he can see what people are saying as visual patterns. He's been using it to communicate with other children in the hospital who have different types of communication challenges." Maya smiled. "That's amazing. How can I help?" "Ms. Rodriguez, Arjun knows about your story. He's been asking his parents to contact you for weeks. He says he wants to give his invention to you so you can help other kids who see the world differently than most people. I'd love to meet Arjun and see his invention." "There's something else," Dr. Sharma continued. "Arjun's parents are farmers. They don't have much money, and they're worried about the medical bills. But Arjun refuses to let that stop him from working on his device. He stays up late every night, improving it, even when he's in pain." Maya felt her heart tighten. This story was so similar to her own, yet completely different. "Dr. Sharma, I'll be on a plane to Mumbai tomorrow. Can you tell Arjun that Maya is coming to see his invention?" "Really? You'll come all this way?" "Of course. That's what we do for young inventors." 24 hours later, Maya walked through the corridors of Apollo Children's Hospital. The halls were painted in bright colors, just like the hospital where she had spent 6 months as a child. But instead of feeling sad, Maya felt hopeful. She knew that somewhere in this building was another young inventor waiting to change the world. Dr. Sharma met her at the entrance. "Ms. Rodriguez, thank you so much for coming. Arjun has been awake all night, working on his device to show you. How is he feeling?" "Much better since we started treating his condition. But Ms. Rodriguez, I have to tell you something. Arjun's situation isn't as urgent as we made it sound on the phone." Maya stopped walking. "What do you mean?" Dr. Sharma looked embarrassed. "Arjun made me promise to call you and say it was urgent. He was worried you wouldn't come for a regular sick kid, as he put it. But the truth is, his condition is treatable, and he's responding well to therapy." Maya started laughing. "Dr. Sharma, did Arjun coach you on exactly what to say?" "How did you know?" "Because 10 years ago, I did the exact same thing. They found Arjun in room 412, working intently on a device that looked like a cross between a music visualizer and a kaleidoscope. When he saw Maya enter, his face lit up with the biggest smile she had ever seen. "You came," he said, though his words were slightly unclear due to his condition. "Of course I came, Arjun. I heard you built something amazing." Arjun proudly showed Maya his invention. When someone spoke near the device, beautiful patterns of light danced across a small screen. Different tones created different colors, and different volumes changed the intensity of the patterns. "I can't understand words the way other people do," Arjun explained, "but I can see what feelings sound like. Happy voices make bright yellow patterns. Sad voices make deep blue waves. Angry voices make sharp red spikes." Maya was amazed. "Arjun, this is incredible. You found a way to see emotions. And I want to help other kids who see the world differently," Arjun said earnestly. "There's a girl here named Kavya who has autism. She gets overwhelmed by noise, but with my device, she can see when sounds are getting too loud before they hurt her ears. Maya sat beside Arjun's bed. Arjun, did you plan this whole phone call to get me here? Arjun grinned mischievously. Maybe a little bit, but I really do want to help other kids. And I really did build this device. And you really aren't dying? Definitely. Not dying. Actually feeling much better every day. Maya laughed. Arjun, you remind me of someone I used to know. Who? Me? When I was your age. Over the next few days, Maya worked with Arjun to refine his device. Just like her magic box years earlier, Arjun's visual voice translator was built from simple parts but solved a complex problem. You know what this could do for children with auditory processing disorders? Maya asked as they tested the latest version. Help them understand the world better. Exactly. And kids with autism who get overwhelmed by sounds. And even children who are learning new languages. They could see the rhythm and tone of words they're trying to learn. Arjun's eyes sparkled. Really? My invention could help that many kids. Your invention could help millions of kids, Arjun. Just like 10 years before, Maya made calls to bring in the best specialists. Dr. Vasquez, now in her 60s, flew in from Switzerland to consult on Arjun's treatment. Elon arrived 2 days later to see the new invention. Maya, Elon said as they watched Arjun demonstrate his device, does this feel familiar? Very familiar. Except this time, I'm the adult being manipulated by a brilliant child. How does it feel? Incredible. It means the cycle is continuing. 3 months later, Arjun was healthy and working with Maya's team to develop the visual voice translator for global distribution. Like Maya before him, he insisted it be given away free to any child who needed it. Kids shouldn't have to pay. To understand the world, Arjun declared during a video conference with the development team. Maya smiled as she watched Arjun explain his ideas to the engineers. He had the same passion, the same determination, and the same sneaky intelligence that she had shown years earlier. But Arjun wasn't the only one. Maya had been receiving calls from hospitals around the world about young inventors who had urgent situations that required her immediate attention. In the past year alone, she had traveled to meet Elena, age 9, in Madrid, who had built a device that helped children with dyslexia see letters in different colors to make reading easier. Kwame, age 11, in Accra, who had created a system that helped kids with ADHD stay focused by turning their excess energy into power for classroom devices. Lily, age 8, in Seoul, who had invented a translator for sign language that helped deaf children communicate with hearing classmates who didn't know sign language. Each child had orchestrated their own emergency phone call. Each had a brilliant invention, and each had been inspired by Maya's story to believe that their ideas could change the world. They're all learning from your playbook, Elon observed during one of their strategy meetings. Good, Maya said. It means kids everywhere are learning that they don't have to wait for permission to innovate. Maya's phone rang. She looked at the caller ID, Children's Hospital Los Angeles. This is Maya Rodriguez. Ms. Rodriguez, my name is Nurse Patricia Williams. I'm calling about a 10-year-old patient named Marcus. He has a rare muscle condition, but he's built something that could revolutionize how we help children with mobility issues. Maya smiled as she listened to the familiar script. She grabbed her travel bag and started packing. I'll be there tomorrow, she told Nurse Williams. How did you know we needed you to come immediately? The nurse asked, surprised. Because 10 years ago, I learned that sometimes the most important calls come from children who refuse to let the world ignore their ideas. As Maya prepared for another trip to meet another young inventor, she reflected on how much the world had changed since that first manipulative midnight phone call. Children's innovation councils now existed in 47 countries. Over 100,000 young inventors had received funding and support for their ideas. The Global Children's Communication Network connected nearly 500,000 kids across 132 countries. But more importantly, children around the world had learned Maya's most important lesson, that their ideas mattered, their voices deserved to be heard, and they didn't have to wait for adulthood to start changing the world. Maya looked at her phone as it rang again. Another hospital, another urgent situation, another brilliant child who had learned to demand attention for their ideas. She answered the call with a smile. This is Maya Rodriguez. How can I help? The cycle continued. The magic spread. And somewhere in the world, another child was picking up a phone, ready to prove that the most important innovations come from the smallest voices with the biggest dreams. Maya Rodriguez had started a revolution with a single deceptive phone call. Now, children everywhere were making their own calls, demanding to be heard, insisting that their ideas mattered, and Maya couldn't have been more proud. The girl who had once tricked the world into listening had taught an entire generation that they didn't need tricks, they just needed courage. Courage to pick up the phone, courage to demand attention, courage to believe that being young didn't mean being powerless. The magic wasn't in the devices they built. The magic was in the belief that children could build anything at all, and that magic was spreading, one phone call at a time. And that was the end of Maya Rodriguez's incredible story, a tale of how one brave little girl's midnight phone call changed not just her own life, but the lives of millions of children around the world. Maya taught us that the most powerful innovations come from the heart, that children's voices matter, and that sometimes the most important revolutions begin with someone small enough to believe that impossible things are just waiting for the right person to make them real. That we'd love to know. Where are you listening from today? Drop a comment and tell us your city or country. It's amazing to think that Maya's story of connection and communication is reaching people all around the globe, just like her magic box connected children everywhere. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up. Your likes help us know which stories resonate most with our community, and they help other people discover these inspiring tales. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories like this one, stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, children changing the world, and the power of never giving up on your dreams. And here's the most important part. Share this video with your friends and family. Maya's story reminds us that kindness spreads, that helping one person can help everyone, and that awareness of what's possible is the first step toward making it real. When you share stories like Maya's, you're not just sharing a video, you're spreading hope, inspiration, and the belief that anyone, no matter how young or small, can make a difference. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, remember, your voice matters, your ideas count, and you're never too young to change the world. Keep dreaming, keep building, and keep believing in the magic of helping others.